Hi everyone, today I'll be looking at non-harmony notes. In most tonal music, there is an almost constant shift between stability and instability, consonance and dissonance, or tension and release, which is partially achieved through the interplay of harmony and non-harmony notes. Harmony notes tend to sound more stable, as they're already sounding in the underlying chord, while non-harmony notes sound unstable and want to move towards stability. Three main reasons why non-harmony notes typically cause confusion are: their function and typical usage are misunderstood, their context, where they're coming from and heading to, and the underlying chord or chords are not considered. Knowing what a chord is and what notes it contains can make the identification of non-harmony notes easier. And finally, forgetting that notes may possess more than one function and may therefore have more than one label can often lead to uncertainty as to what a note is. Often these labels will be dependent upon the level of analysis under discussion. For example, a note analysed at the surface level may have one label to describe its function, while at another level, that of the underlying voice leading, for example, the same note may have another label. In these instances, both labels may be used. I will discuss this further in the final section of the video. Remember, disregarding any of these causes can drastically alter the analysis of a note's function and can give a false interpretation of the music. With this in mind, let's begin. As its name suggests, an anticipation is a note which is sounded before the same note in the following chord. Compared to the note it anticipates, anticipations typically occur on a weak beat or the weak part of a beat. Anticipations are typically approached by step. They are typically used in the upper part of a texture, often at cadences. Typically they are resounded as the note in the following chord, but may also be tied to this note. They may be used in conjunction with a seventh in another part. Here the resulting consecutive fifths are not problematic, as the anticipation is an embellishment of the underlying voice leading. Pedal point or pedals are sustained notes in any part which may support a single chord or several. Multiple pedals may also be encountered. Typically the pedal is either the tonic or dominant of a key. The pedal may be sustained as a series of tied or repeated notes. Often the pedal is framed by the harmony which it prolongs. Typically the pedal is not included in the analysis of the supported harmonies. Suspensions consist of three elements which must be present. The preparation, typically a harmony note, but may also be a non-harmony note, which is sustained to become dissonant with a note or notes of the following chord. The suspension itself is a sustained note, which is always dissonant, as it's not part of the chord of resolution. The suspension should be in a metrically stronger position than the resolution. And the resolution, a harmony note which typically lies either a tone or semitone beneath the suspended note, although occasionally upward resolving resolutions may occur. As their name suggests, passing notes move by step between two harmony notes. There may be more than one passing note between the harmony notes. They may be diatonic or chromatic and may ascend or descend. They may be accented or unaccented. When they occur simultaneously in more than one part, they typically interact in thirds or sixths. Standard neighbour notes move by step away from a harmony note and then return by step to the same note. Motion above a harmony note is labelled an upper neighbour note, and motion below a lower neighbour note. Neighbour notes may be chromatically altered to form a semitone between the neighbour note and harmony note. This, however, is more commonly found with lower neighbour notes. Neighbour notes may be accented or unaccented. When they occur simultaneously in more than one part, they typically interact in thirds or sixths. Incomplete neighbour notes move as standard neighbour notes, however one of the harmony notes is omitted. An incomplete neighbour note which precedes a harmony note, often labelled an incomplete neighbour note prefix, is approached by leap and resolves by step, and an incomplete neighbour note which follows a harmony note, often labelled an incomplete neighbour note suffix, moves from the harmony note by step and then is left by leap. The incomplete neighbour note label is typically used when the neighbour note occurs on the weak part of a beat. When incomplete neighbour notes occur on the strong part of a beat, they are often called appoggiaturas. However, this distinction is not necessarily universal, and both terms may be encountered. An appoggiatura is an accented dissonance approached by leap and resolved by step, either up or down. Upward resolving appoggiaturas may be chromatically raised to form a semitone with the note of resolution. An escape note is a note which moves by step from a harmony note in the opposite direction to the prevailing melodic motion, but then returns by leap. Upper and lower escape notes may be found. Escape notes may also be analysed as incomplete neighbour note suffixes, in other words, those which follow a harmony note. The following excerpt from Bach's organ arrangement of the cantata Wachet auf contains several non-harmony notes. As always, before any analysis is attempted, the key and underlying harmony should be sketched in. With the underlying harmonic framework established, we can now begin analysing the non-harmony notes. Here, the root note and third of the tonic E-flat major chord is connected with a passing note. Here, the third is followed by an incomplete lower neighbour note suffix, which is followed by an A-flat appoggiatura, which also moves to the third of tonic harmony. Notice, on these beats, this note is unaccented and is therefore labelled as an incomplete lower neighbour note suffix, while this accented note, which is approached by leap, is labelled an appoggiatura. Here, another incomplete lower neighbour note suffix is used. This note also possesses another function as an anticipation of the third of the following F minor supertonic 7th chord. This G, which may initially be heard as an incomplete upper neighbour note prefix, is actually a suspension which is prepared here by the third of E-flat tonic harmony. The suspension moves 7/6 and resolves to the root note of the F minor supertonic 7th chord. This E-flat also may initially be labelled as an incomplete lower neighbour note prefix, but is the 7th of the supertonic 7th harmony and is prepared as the root note of the preceding tonic chord. This A-flat, the 7th of the B-flat dominant 7th chord, is prepared as the third of the preceding supertonic 7th chord, and the move to this G note correctly resolves the dominant 7th degree. This G incomplete lower neighbour note suffix may also be heard as an anticipation of the third of the following E-flat tonic harmony. Here, the 7th degree of the F minor supertonic 7th chord resolves to D, the third of dominant 7th harmony, which has here been displaced and now sounds as an appoggiatura over the E-flat tonic chord. The appoggiatura then moves to the root note of the tonic chord. I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. See you next time.